Good morning, everybody. An extraordinary, another sunny day. We could do with a bit of rain, but I'm not going to say anything about that. Listen, let's get things out of the way. Answers, numerous answers from yesterday. I've had to go back and listen to my broadcast, which is a bit humbling, but I've got a list. Ray Illingworth, Yorkshire and England cricketer. What is he? He's the oldest English cricketer who has played one-day international cricket. May mean absolutely nothing to you, and others of you will gasp, but that's the truth. What's next? Oh, Henry Cooper. Everyone remembers Henry. He splashed it all over, didn't he? Or Henry, eh? Or Harry. Brute. Don't know how it would smell today, but I did find something out yesterday which I've forgotten, which was Kevin Keegan was not the first person to do the advert with him. Who was? No longer with us, sadly, either Henry or that person. Who was that first person? Wasn't it Up and Under? Of course, Eddie Waring. Up and Under. I do remember a piece of commentary, though, when Leeds were playing in the cup final, rugby league, and the gentleman, Fox, his surname was, he missed that conversion in front of the post and lost them the game. And I don't think he was the same man again. But moving on, what's the rugby union term used? And not often used now, but it's a Gary Owen, named after the Gary Owen Rugby Club, I think, which is in Wales. A Gary Owen. And moving on, what else we got? Oh, yes, my favourite TV programmes from the 1960s, one of which was the Beverly Hillbillies, who are, of course, the Clampetts. I always loved Granny Clampett. Oh, fantastic. But the question was, what came out of the ground? And one of my special viewers from Eccles got it absolutely spot on. Out from the ground came a bubbling crude black gold Texas teas. So oil, in a word. But you remember that. Just a lovely silly series. But Granny Clampett, one of my favourite characters. Okay, I think that's all the answers. If I've missed any, do remind me. I'm going to dabble. Number 6. Oh, coincidences. Do you know who this lady is? Well, her name is Poppy O'Brien, and you may recognise her because she appeared in the Beyond Limits advert by BT, which came out in about October of last year. One of my favourite adverts. And she recited a piece from Charles Dickens's Tale of Two Cities, and I'd like to recite it now. And these are a few of the sights around the rugby club, and I just think they're so beautiful, and the photographs I've taken over the last few days. It's been the best of times. It's been the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It's the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It's been the spring of despair, but it's going to be the summer of hope. I should make an acknowledgement to Mr. Dickens. Anyway, coincidence. After the new year, I was in my local shop, and there was a dad in there with a daughter, and I said to her, "God, your dad's a spitting image of that girl." And her name's Poppy O'Brien, the girl who's in the advert from Ashton, she is, by coincidence. And she said, "Well, there's a coincidence there," he said. I said, "Why?" I said, "Well, my daughter goes to a stage school, and she got an audition for that for that advert. I said, that's extraordinary. Yeah, but apparently they thought she was a little bit old for it, probably a year or two too old. So I spoke to the lady and I said, did you enjoy going for the... Oh, yes. I said, do you know whose words they were? Oh, so I should do. I share his surname. My name's Dickens as well. That's weird. Okay, right, moving on. 5 minutes gone. What we got? Oh, let's get in the tin. I think it says 4. Number 4. Story from way back when. Confession time. I am aware there is a gentleman called Roy who acted as my inspector back in the day, and we've got a confession. I'm not aware whether he knows. I'm not aware whether he actually knows what we did to him. So this is it. So this is from 25 years ago, Roy. If you did know about it. So the habit on nights was the 3 sergeants and the inspector. Well, 3 sergeants used to put their heads together, and one of us used to nip down from Wythenshawe down to Fallowfield because there was a parade of shops and some of the best kebab shops in Manchester. So we all used to take an order, then around 2 o'clock in the morning, one of us would saunter down to Fallowfield and get a kebab each. So the inspector, God bless him, jumps on the bandwagon. Oh, Richard, could you get me this? So when we went down, they had this extra fiery hot sauce. I mean, my kebab, I would have actually shown a look at this sauce, and that was good enough for me. It had lashings all over his. I was very careful that we marked his with a XXX, so that when I got back, nobody else had landed meeting his. So we came into the canteen at Hall Lane Police Station. There's yours, Paul. There's yours, Glenn. Right. Oh, there's yours, boss. And we sat there. And of course the other 2 were both in on it. And we sat there as the the sweat started to pour down the dear inspector's face. And he said, so, Glenn said, how's it going? You've had one of those before? No. Said, how is it? Oh, it's interesting. Yes, yeah, the confession, boss. And I think you're going to be watching this because I know you're live in cooking and out in the Isle of Man, and you've been watching some of my stories. So, please forgive. All right. I'll never do it again, honest. Right, moving on. Oh, good. 7 minutes. Number 11. Possession. This is a bit unusual one. This dates from 1962. My father was a businessman. He ran a business that they made electrical fuse gear and fuses in end of Plymouth Grove in Longside. Anyway, back in the 60s, he took a business trip to some of the Commonwealth countries. He went to South Africa and he went to Australia. Oh, no surprise that he went when the cricket was on. So he lands up watching the cricket with a mate of his, and he obviously had a side bet on the result. And this was an Australian pound note that he won from an exiled Englishman whose name I don't know. And it was on the occasion of the victorious second test in Melbourne. I presume the victory went to England. I must check on it. In January 1963. Always loved it. Always been on my side. So there's an Australian pound note. Of course, they don't use pound notes anymore. What do they use? There's a question. What do they use? What's the currency in Australia? Now, easy one. Let's have a look. Next one. Number 2. Oh, Limerick. So we had just in case anybody missed the limericks, I think they're worth a rerun. So this is by a lady, and she didn't want a name put in for, but I think she's just done a lovely job. And to have limericks written about you personally. Anybody else got any out there for me personally? Anyway, this is how it goes. I shall hold it here. There once was a fella called Rich who moaned and complained like a bitch. He said, when it's over, I'm going to fall over and get totally pissed in a ditch. Teetotal me, mate. Teetotal. And she's wrong. But lovely. Thank you very much. Moving on. Oh, dee. Number 7, mug of the day. This is a present. Back in 2013, I was staying with my cousins on the occasion of the wedding. So this was mother and father of the bride's house. And one of my favourite films is The Fastest Indian in the West. Now Nellie, the bride's mother, loves that film. The Fastest. Now what I'd like to know is who played the fastest Indian. Now an Indian, as you can see, is a motorcycle. And this is a picture of John, her husband, the bride's father. He has an Indian, beautifully restored, and he has it in his shop, as it's called. Not his garage, but his shop. I got very confused about his shop and his garage. But he has a large garage, which he does his restoration in. I'll show you pictures of other ones of his cars. But he has an Indian. And I think they're fabulous bikes, usually in red. There you go. Correct. Oh. I tell you what, not a bad brew today. Nice mug. Okie dokie. Right, moving on. What else have I got? I think we're about it for today. Guilty pleasure. Let's see if I can pick that one. Yes, I can. Number 15, guilty pleasure. What guilty pleasure have I got for today? Guilty pleasure of the day. I'll tell you. No such thing as a fish. The people who do the research for QI, the QI elves, have sort of set themselves up as a question. They answer questions for themselves. They have a little podcast on, and I've listened. They've got 300 and odd episodes that I listen to at night, and I've been to their stage shows and they're just 3 lads and a lass. And what they also do is they produce a book, which is the book of the year. This is the 2017 one, and it's things like the world's first avocado restaurant where every dish contains avocado, opened in New York. It ran out of avocados on the first day. It's just silly. Instead of their ABCs, Ethiopians children are now learning their LAGs. I'm not sure what that means, but anyway, La La Land was involved in an extremely embarrassing awards mix-up. Do you remember that? Twice. And it just goes on, fact after fact after fact, all beautifully researched. And this is their logo. And I actually got one of their mugs, so you might see it on Mug of the Day. But that's one of my, I don't know, it's not a guilty pleasure. I think it's a really nice thing. And they're really nice people. And they always sign autographs afterwards. I think is that one signed? No, that's not a signed one. I've got a signed copy. So really nice people. Yeah. So I'm going to say goodbye. As per normal, be safe. Have a good day. Enjoy the sunshine, but not too much, because it's not good for you either, is it? And I'll see you tomorrow. That's all, folks. Be safe.